Yo, what is up, people? Let me bring the music down here for us. The perplexity music can get a little loud, so let me bring that down and do let me know. Oh, let me see. I think that's at a good level for the music. If it's too loud, do let me know though. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode, the final episode of the week. I see Dieter Barkit TH in the chat. If you're talking to me on Twitter, Pump Fun. We're live on Pump Fun again. So if you're talking to me on Twitter, on Pump Fun, or any of those other streaming platforms that I'm on at the moment, feel free to say hello in the chat because I would love to see who's on those platforms, who's watching me on those platforms. Let's talk about the market because that's what you're here for. Market gapping up to a new all-time high. Kind of expected with the FOMC reaction. Tesla overnight actually traded above 430, but today Tesla traded back under 430. Still fine though. And the one that really took the highlight was RGTI, the quantum sector, the nuclear sector. Can't be forgetting the nuclear sector. The quantum sector, the nuclear sector, some of the robotic stocks were doing good also. Honestly, you've seen my big watch list on TradingView. We might just have to go through the whole watch list and talk about each stock down there, or at least the ones that moved the most, because it was just such a crazy day today. Because of a post FOMC reaction Thursday, you had some stocks sell off based off of catalyst. You had some stock really ripped to the north side, like for example Robinhood. Reddit made a new all-time high. We called that trade out last night for you guys. RGTI, IonQ. So stocks are just going insane at the moment, and usually sign that the market might be coming to an end on the cycle. But at the same time, you know, we have statistics that say when the Fed rate cuts happen, markets go on an insane rally for the next 9 months. So a little bit of you know, playing with my own conviction, as much how convicted I am in my own positions and how much longer I want to continue holding them. But as long as you keep getting paid out of it, you know, take strengths into pops and then trail your positions using moving averages and so on. So right now, just enjoying the ride that some of the stocks I'm in currently are giving me. For example, Tesla, RGTI, RR, which looks like it's gonna get ready to really blast off soon. If that one can go 100% higher, that would be insane. Apple, you know, I missed out on the Google rally because I'm an idiot. I missed out on the A-Lab rally because I screwed it over for myself. But hopefully I'll be able to capitalize a little bit of that through Apple. So some of my positions are going back to the upside, and we're loving to see you know, the market behave the way it is too. But the question is, you know, how can we take advantage of the market tomorrow? We're a day trader channel, day trader show. Mostly focused on day trading, but I also give you guys a little glimpse into my swing trading account, which you know, I don't have a lot of experience in swing trading, just a little glimpse into my swing trading and how that account's going. Currently 350% winners, so you could say it's going pretty damn well. We're looking good, we're looking strong at the moment. And my dad has been loving my picks at the moment too. Dad also has some AI picks apparently, but you know, I have been giving him killer stock picks, and he's been absolutely slaying the market, which is you know, obviously awesome to see. Awesome to see Pops killing it out there too. Hopefully you guys are doing the same. You guys are joining the party. If you're watching me, hopefully you're taking the opportunities that are being highlighted and making the same type of cheddar cheese that Pops and I are making over here. If not, maybe today's stream will change that. Okay, so let's dive into the full screen. Take a look at all the names that might be interesting for us in the whoa, I'm missing a lot of frames. Well, not really. I missed like 39 frames out of 14,000, which I guess is, you know, barely any. But hopefully I'm not lagging. think I'm not lagging. Anyways, right now I have Scholastic. I was expecting an IPO breakout. Sorry, not IPO breakout. I was expecting a range high breakout on that earnings report, but looks like I'm not gonna get what I want on this name. We'll circle back to this name later on because it didn't really give me what I want, but it might give us a trade in a different way. So it'll be interesting to see how the stock sets up over here depending on its earnings report. Usually doesn't even trade a million shares, so very, very dead on the volume side. Might be even a complete boring dead name for us to talk about on the day trade side tomorrow. So this will be a little bit down the list on the watch list over here. I want to make sure that I add the nuclear energy names NNE, OKLO, SMR, because OKLO has been ripping to the north side and I almost forgot to add that to the watch list. And if you guys have any names that you want me to throw on the list over here, make sure you type it in the chat, otherwise we're gonna miss it. Okay, put some names in the chat for you to for me to look at, and we'll obviously start with the earnings catalyst first. Show you guys the earnings board. Where is, oh yeah, Finviz now has a pretty cool earnings board. If you go to finviz.com, is it .com? Yes, finviz.com. It's accessible by everybody. It's absolutely free, and you can actually check out their econ calendar too. They have an econ calendar, they have an earnings calendar, and a fairly neat earnings calendar. I like it a lot. You can see how FDX numbers are not apparently reported yet, but we know that their numbers came out already. They're a little slow over here on Finviz. They're just now getting this calendar out. I think the tweet for this came out today, but it's very good to see that Finviz, which is a platform that I've been using for years and I haven't seen a lot of innovation in, honestly, now having an absolute revamp in their software. They're creating a whole new charting platform. They're creating a whole new did they give me my elite badge yet? No, they didn't give me elite account yet, but a whole new charting platform, already an awesome scanning platform from previously, and a good way to go look at what a stock's EPS or PE ratio or short float information, financials in general are. So awesome website, man, and they're just improving over here every single day in terms of tools that you can use as a trader. So loving to see what Finviz is doing currently. Tomorrow's earnings report, nothing of importance. Here's the Earnings Whispers calendar that we usually take a look at. Earnings Whispers showing you that only Money Hero is somewhat of a high market cap name that's reporting tomorrow, so probably not interesting at all. But some names that are reporting today after hours are on the board, starting with Fedex, LEN, Lennar, that's a home builder. RSSS, I'm not sure if that deserves to be on the watch list, but I did throw it in there. Let's take a look at what the stock is and if it made a move. It didn't really make a move, but it's been on a little bit of a move recently, back to the upside. What's the volume like on this name? Average 30-day volume, non-existent, but it did trade about 1 million shares today apparently. But off of the earnings report, you didn't really react off the earnings report at all. So maybe not worth keeping on the watch list for ourselves. But besides that, couple other stocks from the week over here, such as Bullish, Cracker Barrel, FDS, are also on the watch list. Starting with FDX, let's bring in our good friend Benzinga. If you guys are interested in this awesome tool, check out the link in the description below. There's simply no trading for me now without this platform. So if you're interested in day trading, especially catching momentum breakout moves, this is a highly suggested tool for you. Requested quarterly earnings 3.83, beating estimates 3.62 by 5.8%. This is a 6.39% increase from same period last year. Not bad at all. Company also reported 22.2 billion, which beat the estimates of 21.667. Hey, looking good. So they beat the estimates by 2.46%, and they also grew by 2.7%, about 3%, 2.5%, and then 3% from same period last year. So it looks like those numbers are looking good. How are we looking for the guidance? Guidance coming in at 17.20 to 19 versus I don't see the estimates, sadly. Over here for the revenue, we're looking at 19.4 billion to 93 billion versus estimates of 89 billion. So guiding ahead of the estimates, guiding higher than the estimates for the full year 2026 revenue. EPS, I don't see the estimates, but I'm guessing that's also higher. Diluted EPS is now 14.20 to 16 before. Okay. Jump on the Q1 beat. So a little bit more to read on the report if you're interested on this. I just want to read about the expects to have a 4 to 6% year-to-year revenue growth. Also, company reaffirmed plans to permanent cost reduction to $1 billion from structural cost reduction and advancement of network 2.0. So looks like overall good things. I know FDX was struggling recently, and looks like off of this report, most likely pushing to the high side. Reclaiming the 200-day moving average, exactly playing around the 200-day moving average right now for FDX, which is, kind of what you want to see if you're an investor in this area, if you're a buyer in this area. A lot of people previously did say that this stock was highly undervalued. So if you just go to FTX, you can see the PE ratio is really low for a company that does that's a great trend line over there on the daily chart also, and you're pretty much getting a breakout of that trend line into the 200-day moving average. So things are looking good on the technical side for FDX, and also the fact that it's somewhat of a legacy boomer delivery company. Yeah, you still have competition compared with Amazon, and Amazon has been doing its own delivery. Amazon recently signed a deal with another car company to test their EVs for deliveries, and they already have Rivian and so on. So FDX, eventually you'll have robots coming in. Robots are not that far out of the picture now. So lots of things in the future that might still spell trouble for FDX. Maybe they'll start buying robots themselves and start using robots for packaging centers, use robots for delivery, because human deliveries are sometimes irresponsible, and they're throwing your packages, and your packages are broke on the way to your house. But a robot would take much better care of it. Much less accidents over in general, much less returns in general. So maybe FTX actually goes that route, and incorporating that route makes FTX go higher productivity, less people to pay, complete overhaul in the way the business is run, and them doing that might actually end up being a very positive thing. But overall, if you think about, I think FTX has like union things too. So how much of those problems will they have to go through? Union issues, having to deal with firing and so on, human resources. So lots of questions over here that we can ask about the future. But for now, in the near term, as a day trader, as a swing trader, the stock reclaiming the 200-day moving average is a very good thing. The report's good. They're growing by 4 to 5%, 4 to 6%. Those are not monster numbers, but this company is also not a small company. We're looking at a $54 billion, $55 billion company. So, it's just I'm not sure if being overly bearish based on the future outlook is the right way to look at the stock. So looking at the near term, as long as we stay above the most recent, I don't even know why that line's over there, if I'm being honest with you. That line should be somewhere here now, because that is almost irrelevant. It's kind of in the same area, I guess, but it's almost irrelevant now. But right there that I just threw in, 238 to 240. You want to see the stock building support above 238 to 240. 200-day moving average actually ends up being around 241. So anywhere from 241 to 240 to 238, this whole pocket of area, you want to see support building in and then being able to really get above 275, 245, 246. That would really open up the upside on this name and take us to glory days again on FDX if it's possible. But just because of the current reaction, off this earnings report, we're not able to get above this little high, and we're trading between these two areas. That doesn't really excite me too much. That is, however, a 7% pop on this name. So for a boomer name, 7% pop is not bad at all. You also take a look at how the earnings anchored VWAP on the 5-minute is coming in right at $250 over here. That's perfect. $250, sorry, $240. That's exactly the level I was saying earlier. So 241 to 240, and if you want to draw the line in sand to the downside, it comes down to 238 on the daily chart, and that can be drawn down one more final time to 237 based on the after hour reaction. So daily chart reaction, after hour reaction, earnings reaction, all of that combined. Ideally, you don't want to see the stock getting below 237, and if it gives us a breakout above 246 tomorrow intraday, maybe even off the open, it dips into the pre-market low, finds support off the pre-market low, and then it breaks pre-market high. That's a picture perfect SMB Capital the money trade setup. So something like that would be awesome. Also, if the stock just holds above here tomorrow in pre-market, and then intraday we just have to buy above 246, I'm okay with that also. That's fine. Showing me that buyers are stepping in above 246 is already a bullish indication for me. So I'm very much interested in that gameplay. However, I'll be a little less bullish and little less aggressive above like 250, 255 and so on. If the stock is trading at 255 off the open, I'm not going to look for long unless it really pulls back and shows me buying somewhere above 250, somewhere above 245, and give me a good proper pullback to get long off of. So high priority. I don't know how Perplexity figured out that purple is high priority. Insane. High priority Perplexity. High priority Fedex. Tomorrow, keeping an eye at the 240, 238, 237 to 238 area. Inflection 240 to 241 because that's my 200-day moving average pocket. And then resistance, we have this 240, 550 to 246 zone, which is basically the daily resistance area. So now we have a picture perfect idea of what we want to take a look at on Fedex so far based on the after hour move. And then pre-market, all I have to do is move the zones up or down based on where the stock is. Makes my life a lot more easier in the pre-market, which means I get to sleep in a little bit longer. LEN, no earnings reaction over here at all. Not sure what happened with LEN. Maybe they didn't report yet. Let's quickly go take a look at what our tools are saying. LEN is supposed to report at 5:45 p.m. So yes, did not report yet. It's only 5 p.m. or 11 minutes to 5 p.m. So still some time before LEN reports. Hopefully I remember to look at that name before we stop streaming. Hey, if you guys can do me a favor, just start typing in chat LEN when it starts moving or when it reports earnings. That way we can use Benzinga Live to see you know, if there's a trade that we can catch on. Right now, LEN above its 200-day moving average, creating a nice range over here, looking to see if we can break out to the upside. Really quickly, if I remember correctly, FDX had a lot of people saying that it's going to beat its earnings report, and looks like, yeah, it did indeed beat its earnings report. Top holders activity, sold 1 at 99, so barely made anything, but made profits, I guess. Made profits. Wow, congratulations to people. Markets, man, look at that. This was actually priced in today at 2:30 p.m. It was going lower. It dropped to 48%, and then at 4 p.m. it dropped. It ripped all the way. So people were actually betting that FDX was going to miss its earnings report going into 2 p.m., going into 4 p.m., and then 4 p.m. They absolutely got blown out. So some people actually lost money as the lines changed going into the close. Very interesting over here. Pretty cool to see that. Pretty cool to see that. Let me just copy this, send it to my friend over here. Lol, people started betting on FDX to not beat EPS, and then they took a beating. Lol. Love seeing other people lose money. It's just, you know, natural way the market works. FTX, wow. What a complete beat over there, even on the poly market side. Taking a look at next week, we have a lot more names, so this will be interesting going into the next week's earnings calendar, especially this bad boy, because it's trading at a ridiculously high price right now. I think like 160, 170 or something. So that will be interesting to see. Yeah, 170 now after that breakout from yesterday that I called out. So shout out to anyone who capitalized on that one. Them reporting very soon will make it even more interesting, right? So stay tuned for that. Next week we'll talk about that all in detail. Let me quickly go check to see if some of our other streams are getting any chatter. That way, if I need to respond, yes, we are getting some chatter, except it's the same viewers that are also on YouTube. It's Dieter and Angry Buddha. Well, yo, what's up, Angry Buddha? Keeps popping up on my scanners, especially when I hear it all time. SNDK went nutty this month. Yo, especially when it happens near all-time highs, it keeps popping up on my scanners. What is popping up on your scanners? SNDK? Or are you hearing alerts from Benzinga? What is popping up? What are you talking about? But SNDK indeed went nutty, Angry Buddha. Insane mode. No words for that stock. It's just what the hell's going on with SNDK. Even WDC, STX, which is Seagate Technologies, they're all just going absolutely crazy. Batshit crazy. Eventually, they're going to set up for a monster short. I promise you that. Continuing down the watch list for tomorrow. LEN didn't report yet. SCHL looks like they reported. I don't even care to read the report anymore because clearly, you know, the market didn't like it. Looks like a negative report over here. Estimated negative 2.52. Sorry, the estimate was negative 2.44. They reported negative 2.52. They also missed on revenue, possibly missing on guidance. I mean, who's buying books anymore when everyone's just using AI to learn everything? So that's probably hurting them quite a bit on that side. So yeah, even in universities. And what was that noise that I just heard? Was that the alert? Are there alerts going off that I need to mute? Now, Angry Buddha has me worried. No? Okay, T8 said no. Okay, I thought I'm tripping. Maybe I am tripping. Even in universities or in high schools now, you're seeing a lot more laptop usage and AI technology usage being incorporated. I know some schools are actually banning AI technologies and stuff, but from what I'm seeing, people want to go more into that direction. So it just makes more sense that this company missed earnings report. However, I would have loved for them to beat earnings report because this would have been a good name to participate in. But it is what it is. Tomorrow might be a short if it starts to hold below 2380 for a room into the 200-day moving average, but I need volume. Like if it's not trading at least 1 million shares tomorrow, it's the most not interesting name out there on the watch list. So just gonna leave it in there. If it does bring in volume, I'll take a look at it. 2580 to the downside, and then to the upside it was 28.90. I don't think we get anywhere back to $28 at all. So I think just having 2380 to 24 area is worth enough to keep on watch, and I'll give it blue rating, which is the lowest of the low ratings on my watch list. It never usually gets that. Okay, RSSS. Where are we over here? Still not getting any movement in the after hours, so not gonna worry with that one. Bullish. Oh, before we go to bullish, TH and Barkit wants me to take a look at UPS. Both of them want me to take a look at UPS because of a sympathy trade to FDX. So let's go take a look at this. How did this one move in the after hours? A little bit of a pop over here, but nothing too significant. You could say that's a breakout of that most recent resistance. So nice little double top over here from September 5th and September 17th, and getting above that double top is actually a good thing, but above that double top is another double top or even a triple top right at almost $90, $89.50. So you do have to get above that. So look at how the 50-day moving average is actually getting into 89.50. There is a very possible trade setup where buying in this area could take you to this area, and then you could get boxed for a little bit longer before an even bigger breakout. So something like that could potentially play out, but they already reported. UPS already reported for the current quarter, and this is their earnings reaction, whereas FedEx is just reporting their current quarter, and their reaction is clearly to the positive side, and UPS is playing sympathy catch up. So I'm not sure if this is a name that you really want to be focusing on. Also, keep an eye on how much further away from the 200-day moving average UPS is. This is just not a winning story here. Good things don't happen below the 200-day moving average. They don't happen even more when all of the moving averages are below the 200-day and are pointing to the downside. So this is looking like the worst chart. There is a little crappy trade, and the reason why I'm calling crappy is because I'm trying to use words that can keep me away from being interested in a trade here. There is a simple trade, however, getting long into 86.50 and then selling it into 89.50, but I'm not that interested. I'd rather just go trade FDX. Look for FDX to buy on the dip and then sell on the rip and try to hold for that for a bigger move. Also, UPS average daily range is only 1.9%, whereas FDX's average daily range is 2.4%, 2.14%, sorry. So, one stock gives you a little bit more average daily range and a lot better volume, I'm pretty sure. So I'd rather put my money into a stock that works for me quicker and trades better also. It's just better for you in the long run if you look at things in that way. Things on UPS don't excite me, but there is a trade for you if you're interested. Bullish, yesterday's earnings report gave you a monster move. We actually covered this earnings report for you live as it was playing out. And look at that, finding support right off of 57. If I remember correctly, someone had 57 in his watch list for you. So shout out to you if you pulled up to the stream. Where is it? Right? 57 on the watch list, and it opened a little bit higher than 57, pulled back to 57 to the marker, and then bounced basically 12 cents off of 57. Gave you a very good Bella scalp almost over here as it bottomed out, and then right to a new high a day. Bouncing even off of VWAP, giving you a VWAP continuation trade, and all you had to do was look for the daily chart support area. So possibly a good chart to write up. I'm gonna actually put it in my notes really quick. Let me see if I can open up that notes. What day is it today? September 18th. September 18th. I want to write up bullish, just so I can remember that chart and have it locked into my memory. So good support area to get long off of. Now what does it do tomorrow? I think with the reaction that you saw over here off of 57, that's going to be very important, because now if you pull back to today's VWAP, ideally you want to see the stock bouncing off of today's VWAP and start making that move back up. Their earnings report was also a monster beat. If I remember correctly, they were expected to lose, but they ended up almost reporting $1 per share. So that was a monster beat over there. All things were just looking good on the report. I'm just trying to quickly walk down memory lane into yesterday's stream. I can't really go that far back right now. My brain's pooping. But, you know, things were looking good. One thing that stands out right now, today's VWAP, earnings VWAP, also lines up right around where the breakout happened. This is somewhat of an inverse bouncy ball. And then breaking right at that inverse bouncy ball at that $62. Anywhere from 62 to 60 bucks, I want to say, ideally is the zone that I want to see if the stock can find support in. So this whole pocket of area, if you can find buying in this area for me tomorrow, I'll be able to, you know, manage myself to sneak into a long for the swing after that earnings report. And this is a recent IPO. Oh, I'm not typing in the right area. Let me delete that. And this is the recent IPO that absolutely got destroyed off of its IPO reaction and recent IPO hype and so on. So possibly going back into IPO day anchored VWAP, and then maybe even going back into the north side because of the banger report that we thought we saw from it. Why is this showing negative over here? If I remember correctly, Benzinga said they reported like 90 cents compared to losing $1 or something like that. However, TradingView is giving us false information. Fake news, TradingView! Coming back for tomorrow though, yeah, like I said, looking for that 62 to 60 area. Ideally, you want to see that area holding up. If it pulls back a little bit below 60, I think the marker that I just marked was at 59. So I can maybe draw it down to 59, depending on where I'm getting long. On the front side, and then how much can I add on the back side. So somewhere in this range, 59 to 60 is like the Goldilocks zone. If you can get a dip by there, you don't have to risk a lot by going long here, because then you're basically risking 57 as your stop. But if you're buying somewhere in the 60 to 62 area, you're still having to risk basically 57. But now you can't really buy that much, so things get a little bit murkier and so on. But ideally, you know, this is the Goldilocks zone, 59 to 60. I'm not sure we get the pullback there tomorrow, but we'll see if we get it. We'll see if we get it. That'll be an awesome area. Below that will be 57. Watching bullish, pretty high priority. Day 2 earnings report. Day 2 ER trade on watch. CBRL for a day 2 trade. Let's go see if this played out exactly as I pictured. And it actually popped a little bit higher than I thought it would, but it played out exactly as I thought it would, right? We were talking about CBRL yesterday. Where's yesterday's watch list? Here you go. 48.50 to 45, and that's exactly how the stock played out. 49, basically $50 on the dot to 45. You got the picture perfect move. It popped into the previous resistance right off the open, then it tried to reclaim this area again, failed, no buying at all, and then a nice fashionably late scalp over here after it gets back below that daily range. Look at that nice smooth continuation move straight to the downside. Let me put that in there. CBRL FLS trade after failing to stay above 48.50 midday trade to right up. There's a short here, there's a short here, and a nice move back to the downside that you never had to worry about. And this matches a nice daily breakdown trade. This also matches a earnings catalyst move, volume elevated, multiple reasons to look for that setup later on in the day, but no reason to really look for that setup earlier on in the day off the open, because it was staying above 50. It got above 50, it got back below 50, but then it was slowly getting back above 50. There was no reason to look for it then. You might be actually chopped up a little bit in that area, but then actually when the trade set up, it was wonderful and just kept selling off. Now you can look for that day 2 trade again, in my opinion. For tomorrow, you don't want to see the stock above the earnings VWAP or today's VWAP, so that's kind of in the zone of $47. So you don't want to see the stock getting above 47, and then you have this daily level at 48.50. So anywhere from 47 to 48, I would say ideally you don't want to see the stock getting above it. If it gets back above 48, it kind of makes me not interested for the short anymore. It's like, okay, you shouldn't be really back here. Sellers should be selling off at 46, 47, 48. If you're back at 48.50, it makes me wonder, what's going on. But still on watch at the end of the day to see if there's a day 2 trade, but a much lower priority than bullish. So 48, I'm going to put resistance as 48 to 48.50. Come on, Prad, what are you doing? My num block is off now. 48.50, inflection as 47, because that's where the earnings VWAP and today's VWAP is ending up at, and then support coming in at $45, because that's also where the after hour move in the earnings reaction was, 44 to 45. FDS, next stock to take a look at over here. Another earnings name, a big stick to the downside. Wow, down 10% on the day. Let's go take a look at how the stock moved intraday today. If there was any good setups to keep an eye on. I guess that was a breakdown over there. But the stock was already down, probably 10% at that point? No, not 10%. But the stock would have been down already about 5-ish% at that point. You would have been trapped on that opening range breakdown right there. And then it pulls back to VWAP, gives you a VWAP continuation. I guess there are some opportunities that you can write up about, but I'm not sure I would have even traded this name. I mean, what an extension to the downside, potentially a long somewhere tomorrow, depending on how bad the earnings report was. I don't even read the earnings report. I usually try not to also trade stocks that report earnings in pre-market, because they have conference calls in pre-market, and they almost always hurt me. So I try not to stay with stocks in the pre-market zone. So I try to stay away from them. Here you go. There's the low PE right there, but people don't care. Bad earnings report, and the stock absolutely getting slammed to the downside below 300. We'll be surprising to see if the stock trades below 300 tomorrow. That might actually open up a lot more downside on this name. That's also a big level from 2021. So 2019 highs, 2021 lows, getting around this area now for FDS. I'll be honest with you, chat. I don't know what to do here other than the fact that it's a low PE name. How bad is the earnings report? That's something that we have to dive into. The company actually reports profits. Low PE, that means they make money. Reported $4 per share. So it's not like they're going bankrupt anytime soon, right? So it's just a crazy name to see this play out the way it is. Is this I'm not even sure what they do, I'll be honest. FactSet Research Systems. I'm not even sure what they do, so I can't even have an opinion on the future of this company. But as the story continues, never happens. Good things never happen above the 200-day moving average. This company is now also trading. It's below its 200 weekly moving average, and looks like just continuation of the destruction. If you want to look for a trade, there could be something around the inflection level of 300. If the stock is able to hold 300 on the dips tomorrow for 5, 10, 15 minutes, then maybe you could get long around 300 for a quick little relief rally long tomorrow. That's the only idea that I can think of. Besides that, I can't really even see any trading idea for myself on that. Nor do I want to be spending too much time on it anyways. There's some banger names out here that are moving around recently, so why don't we go to them? What the hell's going on in my house? There's some banger moves happening right now in the market from the quantum sector. Today, pretty deep pullback after making this high for IonQ, but RGTI actually had a nice rally, even though RGTI pulled back quite a bit. Also, RGTI had a nice rally, closing above VWAP. I think IonQ traded very, very sideways for most of the day, and then it sold off later on, if I remember correctly. Yeah, pretty much sideways for most of the day, and then a little bit of a selling off action into the close, right into yesterday's VWAP. But the quantum sector right now is obviously going ballistic, so make sure you're watching it. I think they have made a little bit too far of a run up for now. Potentially a good short coming in the next few days for a first red day short setup for all of these names, so keep an eye out for it. Tomorrow being a Friday makes it even more juicy. Here's SNDK closing below $100 today. That just might be an indication that the call options and the writers are all already placing themselves in a position where they don't want to see the stock above 100. So here's SNDK. There you go. There's the call wall, put wall. Where's the call wall? Call wall is at 95, and the put wall is at 90. So, and the gamma flip is at 94.42. So this makes it very interesting. So that means the stock getting below today's low, and then getting below 94. That's going to be the gamma flip. Getting below today's low would be below the call wall, and then already below the $100. Anyone who bought the $100 calls, if they didn't already get out for profits and they're looking for some sort of a juice momentum, I don't know what they're looking for, they're gonna get beat up on that one too. So SNDK might actually be a pretty high priority tomorrow for the first red day setup, along with honestly all of these quantum names. So keep an eye on for this one. There's partners in crime. STX is another one. Sadly not a candidate for first red day setup. And then Western Digital, another partner in crime, another candidate, but not another stock, but not a candidate for the first red day setup, because they kind of consolidated a little bit before they started going back higher. So SNDK, the one that stands out. If SNDK gets back above 100 tomorrow, be careful. This one might do some crazy things. What is the float for SNDK? Let's quickly go check out what the float is. Okay, that's actually a decent float. I thought it would be a much smaller than that, but how it's moving. But anyways, volume is increasing. Stock is going ballistic with options coming into play tomorrow. The gamma options, the GEX options, I think that's what they're called, will be very interesting on that name. Okay, watch GEX FRD on watch. Okay. A couple other stocks in the same basket that you might be interested in. OKLO going nuts at the moment. SMR trying to join the party. NNE also trying to join the party for the nuclear energy names. NNE actually might not be too bad of a name for a swing trade candidate also. coming into play very, very soon, but the whole energy or nuclear energy sector coming into play. Nice little breakout over here. Technically, breakout was down here, but a nice little 3-day action breakout in this area. But you know, it's trying to play catch up while OKLO is already making that run. So when OKLO is done making that run, and starts making the return back to gravity, and gravity pulls it back down, NNE is just going to come back down and just come back down harder. So you got to be careful when you're playing the sympathy names out there. Just a quick little shout out to people who were asking me for sympathy names on UPS earlier. OKLO, there's a lot of names honestly that are on the first red day setup watch. Ion Q. I don't want to say RR, but there are a couple robotic names that are also kind of going ridiculous at the moment. So tomorrow, guys, don't be surprised if there is a big sell-off event tomorrow. I sold a lot of my Baba shares today. Baidu making insane run-ups. Look at Baidu and then compare that to Baba. Baidu holding very well after a big gap up and you know, monster gap up and a monster range, holding very well, even though, what is it, Baba giving up the ghost and pushing back lower. So just goes to show sometimes making dumb decisions and not buying any Baidu shares over here makes me want to punch the air. 50% mover over there, missing out, and I only captured what, 20% here. You know, made dumb decisions. I could have made 50% and 20%. Instead, I put all my eggs in Baba and I only made 20%. Well, not even, because I still have some shares, and if I get stopped out somewhere down here, I won't even be making 20%. Overall, cumulatively, I would be making like maybe 10-15%. So that would suck completely if that happens, right? So trailing to moving averages, we'll see if it works out properly. But sometimes you make dumb decisions. So it's not Pokemon out here, though. It's not Pokemon. You can't catch them all. You gotta make sure that you're applying your rules and your systems properly, and then you'll just naturally just start making money, okay? ALAB, another new all-time high. Unbelievable. This stock is fucking crazy. Losing my mind watching the stock go up. I need to just ban this name from my watch list completely. That way I don't tilt. You know, not a bad idea if you think about it. RCAT pulled back off of on that offering news, but look, what I said, that's not a bad pullback. Pulling back to the 9-day moving average, 50-day moving average, 21-day moving average, pulling back to the earnings VWAP, and then giving me an opportunity to look long with what, a $2 risk, a $2.50 risk, whereas the reward could be $5, $10, $15, $20. I'm okay with that type of a risk to reward any day. So RCAT over here possibly getting ready. If we get back above this midday area, I did say if we close above 10 after that offering, I might buy some. I'll see how RCAT reacts tomorrow. If we do manage to get above today's high, 1050, I might actually bite the bullet and buy some RCAT and then add on the higher moves as we keep going north side, because drones are the next sector to keep an eye on. Because of RCAT, UMAC had a little bit of a trouble today. They did not manage to get above 12, but this is another name that I'm keeping an eye on. And in fact, UMAC looks almost better than RCAT on the daily chart. Not only did they break the trend lines, they are also a recent IPO, 2024 IPO. They are also you know, above, I already said recent trend lines, and RCAT has like had previous splits and so on, lots of offerings and so on. However, RCAT is a company that had the catalyst, right? The news catalyst, and so that matters a little bit. But UMAC has one of the best charts that I've seen out there for the drone sector at the moment. So make sure that you're watching this above 12. I don't want to miss out on that one. Let me just highlight that as purple. $12 is my inflection. 1050 is my inflection here. RR, robotics sector, loving the way that it's behaving right now. Wanted it to blast off today, but it didn't really do that. But at least it's holding above my average price, so that makes me a little excited. Just if you want to stair step up, you know, I'm not gonna complain, but I would love to see 100 million shares coming in. I would love to see the stock going ballistic, breaking out, and then just burning the shorts, because I'm pretty sure they have a decent short float, 16% short float. Just burn the shorts, just start flying to the upside. We'll see if that's a possibility. At the moment, nothing really to do other than just watch it, because either you had it on the lows, or you know, if you want to punch the highs, it's up to you. I'm not gonna suggest that ever, but it's a little extended from where I would add to my position. I would need a better setup to add to my trade. I've already added to it today. I'm done adding. So no reason for me to add to on this position. Now I just manage my position to the 9 EMA trail. And in fact, if I look at my average price, I would think my average price is exactly where the 9-day moving average is, which would make my life hell of a lot easier for the trade management here. So let me just quickly go take a look at where our average price is. RR, where are you? I sold it all! No, I'm joking. I added to today. Where is it? Where the hell is it? I see it. Okay, now can I open the position, please, so I can see my average price? Average price 354, and 9-day moving average is 364. That midpoint candle that I'm looking at, that my indicator points out, that's at 367. So not only is my average better than both of that combined, I am looking beautiful. The 21-day moving average is pulling up to my average, and then eventually the 50-day moving average is going to pull up to my average. Everything is just looking great for me over here on RR. Also, there's some really big boys out there who are looking at RR for a nice little long position, such as Jack Kellogg. So when I see that big boy traders like Jack Kellogg are on my side, that makes me very happy. That makes me very excited. So come on, let's see some crazy action, some good news coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen the catalyst where McDonald's is apparently using RR Technologies robots in their stores. It hasn't been announced yet, but they're low-key using their technology in their stores. So if it's true, it just takes one positive news catalyst from McDonald's that they've teamed up with RR to put these robots across every single store in the US. The stock is going from $4 to $40 in a heartbeat, okay? Let's watch this over here. Where is it? McDonald's RR robot. Wow, my English chat. Nope, not Mr. Robot. This is my fault. McDonald's using robots made by RR. Hey, good little example for why prompting is important, right? And how to prompt. McDonald's using robot made by RR for delivery. Let's see if you can find it now. There you go. Come on. Bro, what is this video? Why is it so laggy? Is this a whole... Alright, here. Oh, it's the first ever fully automated McDonald's in Austin, Texas. It's a fully robot McDonald's. This is not what I wanted, but okay, thanks. Not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. They won't let me watch the video. Basically what it is, chat, is it's a food dispenser. Not a food dispenser, but it's a tray transporter. You put your food tray over here with all your McDonald's goodies like your hamburger and your Happy Meal. Each slot has a tray, and then it goes from the kitchen to the sitting area, and the robot basically brings the food for you, and it's made by RR. That's basically what I'm trying to show you over here. But they're land blocking me from showing it to you because I'm in Canada. I'm not in America. Only Americans can see this video. Goddamn YouTube uploader, whoever uploaded that video. Anyways, loving what I'm seeing on this name, and obviously invested in it for the future. For the future. Reddit, new all-time high today. We called that breakout yesterday along with Micron. So if you took that breakout, I'm sorry because the stock pulled right back to the downside. Nice move though. It gave you a very good long, but this is all of these are showing me a recipe for a free fall Friday, honestly. So if the market is pulling back tomorrow, I will not be surprised because this market has had an insane rally and a pullback, a correction, a little bit of a pullback, not a correction, but a pullback tomorrow would be the most ideal thing from the market to expect. So I'm going to keep an eye out for the short side more than the long side just because of my little idea that I have over here. But if you look at other stocks like Palantir recently broke out of a range over there and is now joining the party back to the upside. Robinhood actually broke out of the all-time high, but is also pulled back sadly, so that one's a little bit of a negative move over there. A couple other stocks that moved around. NVO apparently popped today on a news catalyst, so that's worth keeping an eye on. Ooh, NVO. I remember talking about NVO down here. It's up all the way to $61 now. Insane. I've been missing out on NVO quite a while. Obviously can't miss out on the Intel Nvidia news. Last night on stream we were talking about Intel and I said let there be a news catalyst first, and then boom, today you have a news catalyst. First things pre-market, Nvidia is going to be partnering up with Intel. What in the world? What is the timing of that? So it's just like you ask and you shall receive. Good to see that. I think what I want to see from Intel is $30 showing me respect. You know, buyers coming in above 30. But if 30 doesn't hold, then I'm okay with it pulling back much deeper and buying in this area. I'm okay with that. But ideally, if you're looking for a spot to start looking long on Intel, you want to see 30 having buying coming in. If it doesn't have buying, then it's almost like, okay, is this news even valid? Not too long ago, they had the government saying they're gonna take a stake in Intel. Now Nvidia is saying they're going to take a stake in Intel. They're going to make Intel great again. So, at the very least, you want to see 30 coming into play, right? So we'll see if it plays out that way on INTC. That's my inflection zone on INTC. Nvidia obviously, didn't really do a whole lot off of that news catalyst, if I remember correctly. Oh, it popped. Okay, from what I remember, it didn't do much, but it actually managed to go up into the close, I guess. AMD sold off hard off of that news catalyst. And then Micron, obviously, a new high day. Wow, AMD reversed most of the sell-off. Monster bounce on AMD over there. Shout out to AMD. That's what I like to see from the semiconductor stocks. Speaking of semiconductor stocks, Qualcomm continuing its ascent to the upside after that recent breakout, and we called out that breakout for you. Volume coming in on that breakout also, so things are looking good over here. Semiconductors are all behaving well again, at least for a couple days. We'll see if things look bad tomorrow. ARM looks like to be the only semiconductor name that really is on the red side along with AMD. I'm ignoring AVGO, is on the red side along with AMD. The rest of them seem to have all been green, so shout out to semiconductors. Going back to the AI sector real quick, CrowdStrike, how are you doing? CrowdStrike making a monster move. What was the catalyst on this? What the hell happened to CrowdStrike today? Ooh. Okay. So CrowdStrike preliminary earnings reaction over here, right back to all-time high. I have to say, I was so wrong about CrowdStrike. Right? When they had this downfall, I thought CrowdStrike would never return back to glory. It took no time to go back up and make a new all-time high, and then test the 200-day moving average and then bounce right back up. So CrowdStrike could be worth watching for a day 2 trade. CrowdStrike inverse positions, if you guys know any inverse ETFs for CrowdStrike, CRWL, crawl. Come on. That damn trading view crashed. Oh, it's because I have pump fund open, so it's probably taking all the resources. There you go, CRWL. That is a CrowdStrike ETF, so that's probably worth keeping an eye on. Pullback and a hold somewhere on CrowdStrike on its halfway candle, potentially giving you a setup over here on CRWL. Ooh, I might be interested in this. Good volume, not great volume, okay volume, but a pullback on CrowdStrike will keep me interested on CRWL. So where's CrowdStrike? Interested very much. Interested very much. You obviously had use, so you get a purple. Nvidia, you can get an orange. AMD, you bounced fairly well, but you're not that important. You get a purple. You get a purple because you broke out into all-time high. And now we go to Core, Weave, and Circle. My computer is eating ass. I need a new GPU, guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, god damn it, because we need to upgrade this PC, and I can't do it if I'm only streaming to 2 viewers. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, help grow the YouTube algorithm, make YouTube better again, for at least for me, and help the like, hit the subscribe. Come on. Circle looks like it's getting ready for a potential breakout over here. Doesn't look too bad, and I think there's a Circle leverage ETF too. I can't forget CRWX. I can't remember what the Circle 3 times leverage or 2 times leverage ETF is, but that one's an interesting one. Circle is keeping an eye on, what is this, 146, 145. Let's see what happens over here. CRCL. Get a part-time job at Fedex. You look good in their uniform. But that doesn't justify me trying to putting my FedEx employee earnings to grow a YouTube channel that is only streaming to 2 viewers. Okay, you know, I have to use the streaming revenue that I generate to grow the channel, not outside revenue to grow the channel, and then the channel doesn't grow at all. You know, it just stays stuck at TH and Dieter, who's the only 2 fucking viewers who come in every day, and Barky and maybe Angry Buddha every now and then. Okay, so need to grow the YouTube channel and then bring in the YouTube revenue to expand the YouTube side more. But also, that's not the way how, you know, investments work. You gotta invest in your own business first to help the business grow. You gotta pay to play. So maybe you're not wrong by saying that. Maybe I need to start putting some of my trading revenues into growing the YouTube side. Start hiring an editor. Start hiring a media marketer for me. Go out there screaming at the side of a sidewalk, go watch YouTube, TraderPrad, and all that funny stuff. AS apparently broke out today to a new highs. I want to see how this chart looks. I haven't looked at this stock in a long time. It didn't break out. But I guess it did break out, but didn't break out to new highs. Not interesting, or at least as interesting as I thought it would be. So I guess we're just coming back to the last sector that I have to talk about, OKLO. Energy sector, nuclear sector, OKLO breaking out after a nice little 3-day action, almost 110. Wow, 110 is insane. What a crazy move over here for OKLO. Oh my god. 10% today. I wouldn't be surprised if you get another 10% tomorrow. What a joke. What a joke. Nuclear stocks going nuclear, ladies and gentlemen, nuclear. Today's halfway point, you could say, is a little important, but I'd say more important is $100 inflection level. If we're able to pull back and find buying above 100 tomorrow on OKLO, anywhere above 100, I think that's a easy dip buy long for a day 2, and then look for a day 3 continuation on Monday. But hey, as I said, free fall Friday expected tomorrow. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. I will not be surprised if tomorrow is a sell-off day on the market, okay? If there is a sell-off day on the market, my highest priority is SNDK. Just going to throw that one out there. SNDK first red day short setup is my highest priority. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically all the stocks there is to talk about tonight. Quickly head over to the earnings calendar. Econ calendar. We'll use the Finviz Econ calendar, see how that one looks real quick. Tomorrow, Finviz Econ calendar only shows us Baker Hughes rig count, and that impact is a 1-star, so not significant at all. And you can even turn on alerts on Finviz if you're interested by upgrading to the Elite package. So if you want to get the Elite package, you can get the link to that over here in my bio. You get a discount when you click on that link. Go check it out. Finviz has been an awesome tool. I'm still waiting for them to activate my Elite membership, so when they do, I'll be able to showcase more things for you, like the back testing, the alert system, and other awesome stuff that they're working on in the background. So keep watching, keep staying tuned, and if you want to front run me into the Elite membership, you can use my link and become an Elite member right away. Because you don't have to wait for them to activate your account like I am. So that's a little tip for you if you want to, get ahead of the game before me. That's all she wrote for tonight. One last thing I think I do want to check before I call it is the IPO calendar. So let's see if there's anything big on the IPO calendar. Not big enough for me, and it's also an acquisition company, so don't care about that. Not big enough for me at all. That is fairly big. Pattern Group, PTRN. That is a fairly big enough company. So that is exciting. Not big, but it's okay. Let's see what they're about. PTRN, deal size 300 million, 21 million shares being offered. Is a mission to help brands accelerate profitable growth on global e-commerce marketplaces. Proprietary technology and on-demand experts operate across more than 60 marketplaces to increase product sales to consumers in more than 100 countries. 46 trillion data points and sophisticated machine learning and artificial intelligence models. We strive to optimize and automate key levels. Okay. Results and platforms. So basically you help like companies like Shopify do better sales and so on, analyzing consumers and so on. Okay. How big of a company are you? 210 employees. Not founded that long ago. 2013 founded. $2 to $3 billion company, or let's say $1 to $3 billion company over here. Total valuation. 47 PE, which means they're actually profitable. They make money and their PE is not that bad. And something that stands out to me right now is their growth ratio is looking great. So you can see how 2022 to 2023, the growth is only 37%. Then 2023 to 2024, the growth is 31%. And then from 2024 to 2025, that growth seems to be a little bit more than 30-ish%. I'm not good at doing math on the fly, so if you want to do the math right there, you can do that quick math, and I think that would come a little bit higher than 31%. Maybe a little bit lower than 31% actually, now that I'm looking at it. Either way, they're growing year to year. That's the thing that stands out. And they are a profitable company. So looks like worth watching, but it's not in a sector that makes me very excited. It's like, who cares? They're just another marketplace type of company. Not too exciting off of hype based. It's not like a Bitcoin company. It's not CoreWeave, right? It's not Circle. It's not Figma. It's just Pattern. Never heard of it. No one's heard of it. Decent sized company though. Worth watching, and obviously worth putting on the watch list for yourselves. Let me do that for myself. PTRN. Expected to open 13 to 15. All right. And that is the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great weekend. Kill it on the market tomorrow. I am actually a much closer. My box is set up. Tomorrow I have a phone call with the broker, so I'll be having a phone call with my broker tomorrow. After that, I have another phone call with the broker again, and then I have to fund my account. So most likely not before October 1st, because we have to pay for entitlements. It's called entitlements, but it's basically like paying for data, paying for information that if you want to be a real trader, you want to have access to like proper data, and those proper data cost actual money, even if you're trading with other brokers. So proper data is what I'm having a call with, and then once we figure out the deals and so on, and then I fund my account, I'll start October, because then I don't have to pay for half a month, pay full money for half a month, which would be ridiculous. So just starting October 1st, I think is the right way to go about with talking with a couple of my friends so far. Things are looking good. Things are going well. The hardware that was supposed to come in did come in yesterday, and I set it up. My accounts are ready to go. All things are good, and things are heading in the right direction again to get back to day trading with the funded prop account, with the legit prop account. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that side. And obviously swing trading has been going great the last few days, last few weeks. Market has been booming to all-time highs. I hope you guys have been experiencing the same thing. Go make some money tomorrow. We'll see if it sets up to be a free fall Friday, and obviously I'll see you Monday, same time, same place. Until then, peace.